All right, couple more equations with solving variables on both sides. I'm going to just pick some of these to do, not all of them, because some include some special situations which we will talk about tomorrow. Okay, so let's do some of these problems. Let's take a look at number 1. So we have to, number 1, simplify anything, meaning remove parentheses or add any like terms, and I don't have that. I am going to go ahead and put a 1 in front of this x so I remember that portion. And so then I'm going to terms with x's in them. I have a 4x and a 1x, and they are on two different sides of the equation. So the next thing I am going to need to do is I'm going to need to move the variable terms so they're on the same side of the equation. So I'm going to take this 1x and I'm going to move it to the other side. And I'm going to do that by subtracting x off of both sides of the equation. So I do that. Then I have 4x minus 1x, which is 3x, still minus 6, equals 9. I am then going to solve the resulting equation. So 3x minus 6 equals 9. I'm going to undo the minus 6 by adding 6 to both sides. And now I have 3x equals 15. So I now have the one-step equation, 3 times x equals 15. I divide both sides by 3, and x equals 5. With all of your solutions, I at least encourage you to check using a calculator. Like for instance, 4 times 5 is 20, and 20 minus 6 is 14. And over here, 5 plus 9 is 14, so I can see that that checks out. Okay, so what I would like to take a look at are some equations where we actually do have to do some simplifying and removing these and that kind of thing. So the very first one I would like us to look at where we have to simplify is question 5. Okay, so we did question 1 for an example, kind of a warm up. So on question 5, before we try to move things onto the same side, what we notice is we have parentheses that we need to remove. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and remove that parentheses by multiplying that 6 by the 2 and the y. And so 6 times 2 is 12. And then I have x times y is 6y. On this side, I have 3 times 3, and 3 times 3 is 9. And then I have a 3 times plus a negative y. 3 times a negative y, or negative 1y, is plus a negative 3y, or you want, if you'd like, you can write it as minus 3y. All right, once we have removed parentheses, the rest of the stuff will be the same as what we were doing before. So I'm going to find the terms that have y's in them. And I'm going to go ahead and move those, make sure they're all on one side. And so I'm going to take this minus 3y, and I'm going to move it to the other side by adding 3y to both sides. So now I have 12 plus 9y equals 9. So I now solve the resulting two-step equation. I'm going to go ahead and undo this plus 12 by subtracting 12 from both sides. 9y equals 9 minus 12, which is a negative 3. We divide both sides by 9. And we're left with y equals negative 3 over 9. Negative 3 over 9 reduces to negative 1/3. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do one more example where we have some terms that we have to simplify first. So let's just take a look or hop down to question number 7. Well, So in question 7, we don't have any parentheses to remove, but what we notice is we have like terms. And so don't get confused, we're not moving things yet. On this side, before I even begin the problem, I can put 6x minus 9x together. 6x minus 9x, when I put them together, is a negative 3x. So on this side, I'm just putting these together. I'm not moving something to another side. I'm just simplifying. And there's nothing else to simplify side. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and use my steps for solving. So I have a variable term over here and a variable term over here. I'm going to get those on the same side. So I'm going to take this negative 3x and I'm going to add 3x to both sides. And again, I like to choose a smaller one to move. You do not have to. If you wanted to move this negative 2x and add it to both sides, you're going to end up getting the same x equals solution in the end. So negative 3x plus 3x is gone. I have minus 4. Minus is still there. Negative 2x plus, that's a negative, or that's a 1x, sorry, minus 2. Now, you're going to notice I kind of did something after moving those. I actually did kind of myself a favor because I have a 1x now, so I'm not going to have to do that division at the end. I am to do the last operation though, and the last operation on the side with the variable is minus 2. So if I go ahead and add that to both sides, I get negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2 equals 1x. And I notice, like I said, I don't have to divide both sides by 1 because 1 is the same as just x. And so x equals negative 2 in this case. All right, so I'm going to give you a couple to try on this equation, solving equations with variables on both sides.